Hi, my name is Leo, and if you're new here, just to give some context as to who I am and why I'm talking about these specific subjects, I'm someone who has lost 120 kilos, 265 pounds all on my own, and I've been obese, basically morbidly obese for all of my life until now. Um, so I have definitely some things to say. What we're going to talk about today is two things. First, mainly, there is a video that came out a couple of weeks ago called The Science of Being Ugly. And this was between the two Dr. Mikes. And then after that, there was also a podcast episode on the Happy Strength podcast um, called The Real Reason Why People Train. So I I want to dive into a bit this subject and give mainly my own thoughts and my own experiences about it, and hopefully it can be of some use. Um, so first of all, the first discussion about the science of being ugly was between Dr. Mike Warshawski and Dr. Mike Israetel. They are respectively, one is a family medicine doctor and YouTuber. The other one is the co-founder of RP Strength, and he has a PhD in sport exercise and science, and yeah. So they are experts in their own fields. They also, of course, have their own personal experiences and opinions to bring to the table. I was originally going to review more, maybe of what they said and what their opinion, but I think the best thing is you just watch the video. It's a long one, but if you're interested in the subject, I think it's worth watching. It's a very good discussion. I would say clearly that I respect both of these people very much. I respect their opinions, and I think they had some valuable inputs from both sides. I tend to agree with much more of what Dr. Mike Israetel was talking about in this specific instance, but there were definitely valid points on both sides of the discussion. And also, to summarize, I guess you should probably listen to the Happy Strength podcast episode as well with Mr. Nick Shaw and Dr. Mike Israetel about the real reason why people train. To summarize both the video and then the podcast episode in very short version, there was a lot more said, of course, but on the science of being ugly, it was mainly about how people treat you when you look a certain way, particularly when you're morbidly obese. How does it affect your relationship to people? How it affects specifically your romantic relationships and your outcomes and your options when it comes to that part of life. And when it comes to the real reason why people train, it was very much connected to that because it's talking about wanting to look good, and that is something which is a part of the equation, in my opinion, always. And it's when it comes to training, is not necessarily to look good for someone else. It's a lot about your self-image. But then that does happen to translate very well to also being treated differently by other people, being more attractive to other people, and all of that. So let's dive into my own thoughts and my own experiences. Being morbidly obese all of my life, I never really hated the way I looked, honestly. I definitely didn't like it, but I was never. I know there are some people probably that have a harder time with how they look than I did. I honestly always had much harder with how others saw me. Because I don't think I ever saw myself as bad as others did, I guess, or as I perceived that they did. Better said, right? Um, and then, of course, that affects you. That affects you. How other people treat you, how you perceive that other people see you, has a deep impact on you. When we talk specifically about romantic relationship and we talk about talking to women and all of that, I'm gonna be completely honest that talking to women for me has been mostly a traumatic experience in my life. When they say the worst you can get is a no, that is very, very far from the truth. Um, as a matter of fact, when I was at my heaviest, and I would ask if I did manage to have the courage to ask someone out, getting a straight no was one of the better outcomes I was hoping for. Why? I will explain that. I think it's a main subject of why I'm making this video is that getting a straight no at least means that the person considered you as a potential partner, they analyzed you, and they said, okay, that's not for me. And that's actually much easier to accept in a way. For the vast majority, people will not really register me as a potential partner. So that hurts much more. And quite a few times there have been women who have kind of been, even involuntarily probably, I'm not saying they were not trying to be mean, but there are definitely women who have been reacting disgusted or even offended that I would ask them out. Okay? That hurts deep inside, man. So, and I know there are a lot of people who go through that stuff, so it sucks. It sucks. And I know I'm not blaming anyone, you cannot force someone to like someone else, and it's mostly biological, basically, what they think about you and how they like you, don't like you, and all of that. So you cannot really do much about it, honestly. It is what it is. But I think it's kind of important for people to know that that's a reality. There are people that really would like a romantic relationship, that it would like to find love, that it would like those things in their life, but they just, whenever they try, they are made to feel like garbage. Okay. So it is what it is. It is what it is. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Being morbidly obese unfortunately brings with it a lot of trauma. Yeah, I think that's the only real good word for it. And I don't think people are really aware of that. So just as I always say, and I've said in several videos before, I think always try to treat people for who they are as a person. I'm not saying you should fake being attracted to someone you're not attracted to. It is what it is. You're not. But be respectful. See them as a person. Have a straight communication. And you know what? Because of many bad experiences, sometimes I've had women who have been very straightforward about not being interested maybe, and have been very respectful, and then I have reacted in a bad way. Because I'm human and I'm flawed. And so even when they will treat me with respect, I will have my own issues and not react in the best way. It is what it is. I think it's just important for people to hear this stuff because it's not really talked about that much. Coming to the reason why people train. Do I train to look good? It's part of it. Do I train to look good for other people? Not as much. I think I train more to look good for myself, honestly. Um, it's not the main reason why I train. It's not the main reason why I lost weight. I think I've been talking about this both in a few videos and on my appearance on the Happy Strength podcast as well. Uh, I've been trying to build mental strength, physical strength. I've been trying to improve my finances. I've been trying to improve my emotional stability. I've been trying to improve a lot of parts of my life, and training for me has been a way to push myself hard. That has been a big part of improving my own life and improving who I am as a person. So for me personally, I do see training as something very deep, and that helps me develop, helps me push forward, and challenges me. So that is a big part of why I train. Do I also train because I want to look better and I want to look in the mirror and be more satisfied with what I see and have more self confidence? Yes, I do. I would lie if I would say that that wasn't the case. And I think that is the case for most people. Um, does that make me vain? Maybe. I don't know. I guess we all are. It is what it is. But I think that lying and saying that you don't care about how you look for yourself, it's doesn't really help. So um, people look at themselves. People are aware of how other people perceive them. For me, I've said this as well that I've I've wanted to I wanted my look to match my work ethic because I'm someone who works really hard in several areas of my life, and I've applied this to fitness in order to get that part of me to be even more visible, right? So I think this is basically the main thoughts that I had on the subject that I wanted to add to the conversation. Um, the hardest part about being morbidly obese when it comes to relationship, when it comes to um, particularly romantic relationships, is that in many cases you become completely invisible. Like not being registered at all as a potential partner, that really hurts. So it is what it is. I'm working through my own issues, and I always try to improve both mentally and physically and everything. So, um, but I think it's fair for people to hear from someone like me how that has felt and what it's like. Um, so I hope that this was of some use. I just wanted to share my thoughts with you guys today. So thank you for watching and see you next time.